call up our city council member in St. Paul, Melvin Carter. There are many city council members in both Minneapolis and St. Paul who have been involved with advocating for this project, listening to the community. City Council Member Carter was really instrumental in leading the group that helped to get the additional stops on this project to make it really serve this community in the best way possible. And I want to call up Melvin Carter.
Good morning. Is it still morning? Good. Thank you, Chair Haig, and to all who've spoken today for your words, and more importantly for your leadership and the leadership of so many people in this room to make this day truly be a reality. Luckily, I get to go close to the end, and most of what needs to be said today has already been said, so I can be brief if you understand that I just agree with all the stuff that everybody has already said. My name is Melvin Carter, and as the representative of Ward 1 in St. Paul, I represent one side or the other of University Avenue, from Snelling to 35E. For the community that I represent, today is an incredible occasion, and we have a lot of emotions about this. It's a time for celebration, and it's also a time for reflection. Not far away from here, my grandfather once worked a thankless and often nameless job as a Pullman porter at the Union Depot. He worked hard, scraped together his money, and eventually had enough money to purchase a couple of investment properties, over half a dozen investment properties on Rondo Avenue. Unfortunately, progress took those properties from him when Rondo was uprooted to build the freeway. Thinking about my grandfather today helps me remember the gravity of this moment and the understanding that our mayor said and so many other people have said that our work is not done yet. Today marks a completion of an important leg of our journey, but we're nowhere near the finish line. If you know anything about this project, if you know anything about Central Corridor, you know that this process has not been without controversy. We've argued over what street to put it on. We've argued over whether it should go above or below ground, how many stops there should be, and where those stops should go. And we've argued about everything else from colored concrete to crosswalks. We've argued in Minnesota, we've argued in D.C., and I think we've argued just about everywhere else that Administrator Rogoff has stopped along the way. And we're still not done arguing. There's still things for us to argue over. And those arguments, some of them have been painful, but really important. And I think we can all be this proud of this line because those conversations made this project even better. There's a lot of people who've had important roles in the process and many who've already been acknowledged today. But I definitely want to call out first my colleague on the St. Paul City Council, Russ Stark. Russ and I have spent so much time together on Central Corridor that my 3-year-old actually refers to him as my brother. I also see one of my colleagues from Minneapolis City Council, across the Great Water, Cam Gordon. I'd also point out my own legislative aide, Akua Lee, and all the other kind of fantastic city staff members from both cities who have worked so hard on this project. I'd call out neighborhood organizations like the Preserve and Benefit Historic Rondo, the District Councils Collaborative and Isaiah, the business organizations like the Chambers, like the University Avenue Business Association, like the Asian Economic Development Association, and all these people who have worked so hard over so many years, constantly challenging this project to do better by the communities that it has to serve. I appreciate their hard work because in order for this progress that we celebrate today to serve my children better than we served my grandfather, this train is going to have to carry a really heavy burden of hopes and dreams for good jobs, for good housing, for good business opportunities. And it's going to have to carry that burden up a really tall mountain of fear and cynicism and pain. I'm almost done, but I think as I think about that burden and that lift that we have in front of us, about another train that my mother used to tell me about when I was a kid that carried a really heavy load up a really steep cliff, just based on the willingness to say, the courage to say, I think I can, and the willingness to back up those words with some really hard work. Even beyond today's signing, I think this project will continue to face important questions. To me, the most important question is whether we can stay optimistic and hardworking enough to build a train that not only looks good, but is good for carrying forward the people in our community who need a lift the most. I think we can. Thank you.